Morning. Feels good to be back, bro. Feels good to be back. Let's go. This week I was kind of dabbling a bit. I was a bit lazy, relaxed, but that's all good though. Cause what matters at the end of the day is that we're back to grinding again and now being more consistent than ever. That's my goal. So let's see what we got going on. I'm gonna explain after I make my analysis what I'm going through right now, what is my plan. But for now we're chilling. So let's see what we have here. I do like that we're in low resistance scenarios. So for me, bullish price action, right? 4 hour, sell side sweep, inverse, 4 hour. Now another 4 hour, low resistance here, easy delivery. I would say around here. This is where high resistance is starting. So this should be an easy fill. I'll start getting the fill here. Should be easy, easy, easy. We do have this daily gap, so yeah, that's what we gotta be careful at here. But we're still targeting this, our main target. This is our second target. Towards filling, we also have this inverse here, which might make the being bullish biased a bit risky, but that's all good though. So let's start with 28 Monday. Okay, so let's see until Notion loads up. What does the hourly look like? Big as impulse. Also, I want to check the economical calendar before we start the day, since I didn't. Monday. We're in. What do you? Oh, this is June. Boom, boom. Nothing. Very low probability day, so gotta be careful at that. If we're gonna have a trade, it's gonna be 2 hour, not more than that. But we do have a lot of news Wednesday. Thursday is a bit decent. We still have a lot of news. Friday as well, so we have a lot of news this week. We gotta be really careful at trading. Friday we can only trade after 5. Thursday we can only trade after 3:30. Wednesday very likely not gonna trade at all in New York. Probably only London if we have an opportunity, but even that is really risky. So this week not great. It's not even CPI, but I don't know why FOMC and NFP happen at the same time, or do the NFP? They don't really, but this is slightly weird. Yeah, we do have FOMC and NFP happening in the same week. Sometimes it happens and I have no idea why, but sometimes it happens. Okay, so today we know already that it's a low probability week, so we just gotta be careful at that, knowing that we ain't really gonna be looking for those higher trades. That's all we need to know from this day, and we cannot expect that clean delivery. But yeah, 4 hour inverse, 4 hour order block more like here, so still valid gap, valid edge. 4 hour area plus also liquidity, and 4 hour inverse plus 4 hour order block is very valid for us to keep buying, especially since we are in low resistance. That's gonna be my analysis here, and now we're just waiting for that hourly gap to form. I would prefer this high to stay intact. If it would be kind of perfect. Just waiting for this 1 hour gap to print. That's it. We ain't waiting for more. It's a pretty simple setup, but it already looks like a good gap here in the 50-minute, which is probably gonna hold higher, like straight off the bat. Maybe not gonna form that hourly gap before we reach into draw, but it is what it is. As overall, I think we're easily gonna deliver through this slow resistance, but it is what it is. We're gonna look at the others. Let's see if Euro tells a bit of a different story. Here we're also good on looking lower prices. Our area is basically high resistance. That's why it's unconventional about this. We're trading off a consolidation. We swept buy side, tapped that big ass consolidation, and then switched to order flow. First we had this 4 hour getting respected here, then we made like a small raid and went lower. Not really that clean on the 4 hour, not clear confluences though. I must admit the confluences are not as clear as on DXY, but yeah, it's not clear at all. So here 4 hour is definitely not clear. That's what we know. We don't have anything. We just have this. You can call this an inverse, and you cannot call this an inverse. And this is a very choppy inverse to be. Yeah, it's just like 4 hours are very unclear. Very unclear. The area is good. We reacted off the buy side, and the area is good. Let's see if 1 hour provides a bit more context and us switching bearish. But it's still weird, right? We have this 1 hour to another 1 hour. We sweep that. It's still weird. It's still weird. Unclear, very unclear. So this is definitely not an A plus setup. And now that's what I wanted to talk about. Now what I'm doing is, or what my approach is, only looking at A plus setups. That's pretty much it. GU looks way better here. We do be approaching a bit of high resistance. So let's see if this is worth for us to be traded. In euro, I don't want to trade. It's very unclear. I don't want to be trading. I'm not even going to make an analysis. Very unclear, and it's a low probability day, so we don't really want to do that. If we want to short, we're going to short GU here because it's way cleaner. Again, 4 hour AVG with 4 hour inverse here at the top of the move. We had a really clean 4 hour inverse, and then we just printed bearish. Like, it's not that crazy. Price action is just very one-sided, and here we should be reaching towards the slow. The only thing that is a bit skeptical, or oops, I executed, I don't know what the shortcut for that is, but yeah. The only thing that is slightly skeptical here about GU is, yeah, Euro USD not clear. Not clear at all. Here I really like how we respected and stay within the inverse and then displace lower, so this might be really good. Actually, on looking at lower prices, this is definitely valid, and we formed a night consolidation. The only thing that is skeptical about this is this. Oh, my bad. My microphone, sometimes it just it slows down for no reason, but sadly what I'm applying right now is not trading in high resistance scenario. This is definitely a high resistance scenario. So the only way I'm gonna trade this if we see price react off it and clear that consolidation, trap those buyers in, and then looking to short lower. That's kind of the only way I'm gonna look to trade in scenarios like this. Normally I want to be trading in low resistance, how euro or not euro, DXY. Euro also has low resistance here, but how DXY has low resistance. This is low resistance. I don't want to be trading in this consolidation. So even if the setup looks A plus, I've seen so many setups fail because I'm trading into consolidations like this one. So very likely not gonna do, but gonna monitor definitely. It's only if intuition really tells me that this trade is good, the only way I'm gonna enter. But this definitely looks like a good setup, except this, which very often makes setup fails. Even if it doesn't look logic, and even if it looks like liquidity, you say, okay, this is sell side, we're just targeting that. Nah, because this is basically 1 day of consolidation. There are fucking trillions of dollars stuck here, and they're still in those buys position triggered higher. So when their price gonna come into that area, they're gonna protect their position because price is stepping their break even. So the very least thing we're gonna see is a reaction. Now if that reaction gets rejected again and we continue lower, it's another thing, but we don't want to be caught in that reaction, because if we short like this into the consolidation, what happens is this price comes back, manipulates, and then goes lower, because we're now waiting for these orders right here to get cleared or tapped in. So that's what I learned recently, and that's why I'm gonna avoid this unless I see something really clear. Because yeah, the setup fails so often into this. Setup looks good. I don't even need to write anything in my analysis. The setup definitely looks good. AU also looks good here just by looking at it, but we have really nice edge here. This is a really nice edge. So you buy sell liquidity into kind of 4 hour FVG here, but it's more like this inverse, right? We retest, now we're printing lower, but look what we're shorting into. 4 hour AVG into relative high resistance. So again, this becomes really risky, even if it looks good as fuck, I ain't gonna lie. But the 4 hour does look good here. So sadly we have a lot of setups getting rejected until now, but that's not a problem. Like at this point I know what I have to do to turn profitable, and the only thing and the thing that is very important to turning profitable is trade selection, meaning you only choose to trade A plus setups. Really good buy sell liquidity rate into inverse, and this edge usually triggers a retracement towards the 4 hour FVG, but sadly it's kind of close. It's not really scary, but it's definitely high resistance. Fuck. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. I don't want to be trading high resistance, and that's what I'm gonna do. but it looks good though. 4 continuations lower, sadly, and I think G's the weaker, AU somewhere in the middle, and U is the stronger pair. But sadly, the setup still look good even in this. But maybe the consolidation lost relevance and the buyers got tapped in on that. So that's what I'm gonna keep in mind, because this was a very clear mitigation of the these. So these might not really even care that much to react. So we're gonna see how we're gonna behave. I don't think this should be draw, and this is overall a very high resistance area, or the area we should be drawing towards, and then from here I'm definitely expecting some bullish intention. But overall, because of that clearance that we got on the sell side, here, that we got this mitigation of the consolidation, this means these orders were cleared here, so we might be able to look at those shorts if that hourly gap forms. That's my only way of trading this. AUDUSD, even if it's a void, we cannot be trading into a 4-hour gap. It's just not realistic unless it gets mitigated. So 1 hour doesn't look that scary, to be honest, but it does look hard. It's really scary. There's motherfucking millions, billions of thousands of orders here. Millions and billions. And the price action is definitely bullish. We can clearly see price action is bullish here. And look where we are, exactly in equilibrium. So that's why this becomes a really risky trade. If we would have caught this sell straight off here, maybe yes, but yeah, DAX we don't want to be trading here. No matter how good it looks, I mean, it doesn't even look good, but we don't want to be trading here. It's a big ass fucking range. Don't want to be doing shit like this, but we did inverse here, which might actually hold higher, but don't want to be trading here. If we have no trades, that's completely fine. I can't hear what I'm practicing. This staying NA plus setup. This is what is gonna make me profitable. So inverse, that's right. It does look good though for continuation, because it's low resistance, but we don't have much confluences. I mean, we have sell side rate into 4-hour AVG with a 4-hour AVG, so maybe relative. It's a valid setup. It's just that this is a bit weird. But we're gonna see. I do like how the gap is overlapping here with I do like how this bullish gap is overlapping with this, and I would not really be scared of buying here because I really am confident in reaching this low resistance high. But we're gonna see. Also, I do really like UK here. I like how this inversion looks, but it's a 4-hour inverse with no other confluence. That's the problem. That's kind of the problem. One of the big, okay, we have daily gap, so we have daily gap to 4-hour inverse, which is this actually. So daily gap to 4-hour inverse. This is also a decent setup, I'm not gonna lie, but not the greatest. 4-hour inverse for daily AVG to 4-hour inverse. I don't really like trading so voided unless I see a really proper, I don't know, like liquidity rate or something. Here we're definitely not gonna, we have a chance of holding this though, but I would still want to trade here because, as I said, I'm positioning myself in the highest quality scenario right now. Even we can even leave off this. There's not something that didn't happen a lot of times until now, but definitely gonna be looking to trading off this 4-hour inverse right here. So let's see, gold is looking still bearish. We are reaching a pre-bullish area here. Sell side rate into 4-hour AVG. It becomes really likely for us to see that bullish momentum. I would say at least to retrace towards this 4-hour right here. So we might see that. And when that happens, we don't know for sure whether we're going to continue lower or higher. And that's when we're going to wait for price to give extra confirmation. But I would say sell side sweep into 4-hour or 1-hour, my bad. Now we just need to see a 1-hour gap to be targeting this really easy draw. This is a retracement trade, but that would be completely fine depending upon what we have on the hourly. So let's go over gold. We're just gonna paste some pictures. I'm not gonna stand that much. We see we have a 1-hour gap here, so in theory this makes the setup valid for us to be targeting this, which this becomes our draw on liquidity. But it's a very small idea, and it's gold in London, so unless I see something really clear, I'm not gonna be buying here. But it does look decent. I do like how we swept New York lows here. This is a very signature move when we want to hold this Asia, for example. We swept really nice New York lows here, and then we just held bullish short the flow. So gold becomes one of the pairs I'm gonna watch, because we might have some really short-term London buys towards here. And in terms of quality, the setup is pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. So because we have sell side sweep into area into previous sell side sweep, and then we have the following confluence, which is our second confluence that I'm waiting for setup to be valid to target this really easy draw. So yeah, but euro, let's see, UK very likely not gonna be trading. My bad. DAX we don't want to be trading. I mean, wait, we're gonna position them later depending upon quality. Here again, even though it looks good for me to keep buying here, right, we're just respecting gaps and we're forming another gap here. Can you guess why I'm not taking the setup? Boom, high resistance. There's a lot of orders being stuck here, so we don't want to be trading and targeting above. If we were in this buy, we could have targeted the high resistance zone, yes, but when price reaches this, we don't want to be in a trade. We want to wait because there's very possible to see some bearish intent here, either a short-term reaction or long-term reaction with switch trend. So we don't want to be trading UG. So let's go over um, what we actually expect for today. I'm expecting this way to be continuing higher, at least towards this gap here, this high here, which makes a daily gap, meaning euro will continue lower, but I don't like euro. We don't have necessary confluence to be trading this pair, but I'm do be expecting lower prices. Same on AUDUSD again, but it's risky. It's risky to keep shorting. This is a very valid edge, but it's a retracement edge, and the retracement finishes here. So the idea already played out on AUDUSD. It was from here to here. That was our idea and our valid edge here. And now until this either gets invalidated, we cannot be trading. So Euro and AU are gonna be invalid. DAX is really close to range highs. I'm gonna pay attention to this. It's a decent trade to be taken here. Of this 4-hour inverse, just a simple retest and just targeting this high here. It's a simple trade. It's not very high quality because we're very overextended. That's why I'm gonna pay a lot of attention. Gold, some easy buy should be happening higher towards price and liquidity in here, or the 4-hour VG. I would say actually gold is probably one of the highest quality setups for today, except we are in London. So UK is just a continuation trend, really simple. I would like to see New York print, and I would like to see a proper retracement into this. And when I'm trading at all times high, I do want to see liquidity grabs. I do want to see, that's a very big thing I'm looking for in continuations. But the best would be definitely GU if we print that bearish gap, that bearish hourly gap. Until we print that, my trade is not valid. It is dangerous because we have a pretty big amount of sell side getting swept here, so I don't know if we're gonna actually get that or we're gonna reverse. But I do like gold. To be honest, I do like gold. This idea of retracing and setting up New York for the sell-off here, I do really like this. And we can even look for a new reversal of New York here. If we manage to reach here, and then we get a 1-hour gap, a shift in momentum here, we can easily be trading off that area to target these lows here, because we see we have equal lows. But at this point, you have to understand probabilities in a sense. This is why how I trade, and I basically bend to what the market's doing and to the probabilities, because right now what is very likely to happen is us to retrace towards this. Even though I think we're gonna reach in these equal lows, I think it's very unlikely to reach into them before we mitigate this 4-hour. That's why I'm buying. I would buy here short term just to retrace, because we are also in a really good area of previous wholesale liquidity rates and where we initiated bullish intent. So here my trade is a retracement, yes, but it's a high quality retracement. And then after we do reach this POI, if we get a 1-hour gap lower, it's easy fucking sells towards the sell side here. It's a very clear target. It's low resistance. We have this and we have this. But until we reach into this, I'm not going to actively look for short. I'm going to look to short if we maybe inverse this. But yeah, I'm still waiting for this. This is my A plus setup here. If we reach in premium, is this, let's ask ourselves, is this an A plus setup? Well, let's think about my edge. So my edge usually has a sell side, some type of liquidity getting swept. We have first step, which is liquidity getting swept. Second step is an area where we're kind of switching intent. This is our area. It's not the highest My grandma just came in. So we have first area. Not first liquidity. First step. Second step is area. And third step is trigger. This is how I trade. This is how my A plus setup looks like. Trigger. Trigger is the gap higher. Technically it is an A plus setup. The only thing that is not that great is that these two confluences are on the hourly, not the 4 hour. That's the only thing that kind of makes it less quality. And the fact that we're going against bias, but I would say still we have really strong drone liquidity. So I wouldn't really know if this is an A plus setup. I'm not sure, but I would still say this is a very sweepable zone. I'm not sure yet. GU is an A plus setup if we wouldn't had this bullshit ass consolidation here. But yeah, reaching into this high resistance, definitely gonna step away from the charts when we reach this. But again, we have equal lows here, so this is also very strong drone liquidity, and we have very strong bearish momentum. I think wasn't I looking at this trade here on New York? I think I was. I'm not sure if I was actually, but this was a good trade. I could have actually taken that. I'm pretty sure. I think the reason why I didn't take it is because we're trading off of consolidations, and I mean not really, because they had a 4 hour buy side, so we had buy side liquidity into area, then they had the 4 hour trigger. So this was definitely a valid trade. I don't know what I did last week, but I'm not gonna dwell on what I did last week. I'm gonna dwell on what I'm doing right now. So this looks like a good gap to be continuing, except that yeah, a lot of social liquidity getting swept, a lot. So we're gonna see. Not really that, I don't know, confident in the trades today. So as I said, I'm gonna be really careful and only training A plus setups. So the highest potential for an A plus setup is definitely gold here, but it's a really small move, and first of all it's a retracement move. But this has the most potential, and it's gold in London. If I would think in the best A plus setups, A plus setup here, it would be us looking to short in New York, definitely towards the equal lows. So probably that's what I'm gonna wait for if yeah, price confirms it. But we can also look at buys towards retracing that, but it's just a riskier thing to do. But I would say we're still very easily drawn higher here. UK, these pairs, this I'm gonna wait for. New York, definitely. Tax doesn't look great. Like these pairs don't look great, not even euro. The only two GU and gold, but GU loses a lot of probabilities on delivering lower here once. Oops, oh shit. Once we reach into this, that's the thing. It loses massive chances of continuing to deliver lower, therefore loses win rate. Our setup loses a lot of win rate on us trying to keep shorting here. That's why I'm sitting on the bench. Because as I said, when we trade in high resistance scenarios, every fucking setup, if you want to short here, is gonna massively lose win rate. If we want to short, we want to short here. Low resistance, relative high resistance, but not really, just too small of a consolidation. Low resistance, high resistance. That's when we struggle. Like the same is here. We buy towards this very low resistance high. Low resistance until we reach here. This is high resistance. We reach into that high resistance, we instantly fucking fail lower. Because you have to understand, there's fucking big ass hedge funds and banks shorting here. They were still on the sell. What does price do? Mitigates their break-even orders. What are they gonna do when the price mitigates their break-even orders? Of course, protect their fucking position. And that's why we see that intent hold lower here. Consolidations are usually when we form these lower highs. In this case, yeah, the lower high here to finish the delivery lower. Again, this is even bigger than this. This is big. Here is a chance to see massive bullish intent, like not slow bullish, like just something like this, bro, like from this here. Yeah, so really helped me a lot, and especially in backtesting, like how I backtested last week, like trading in low resistance and high resistance scenario makes a huge fucking difference. I'm not gonna lie. Where are my stats? Because I think I saved how my stats were looking when trading old bullshit setups. This is how my stats were 33% on a very choppy equity curve, and then when I started implementing only A plus setup, A plus setup. This is how my equity curve starts looking. 53% win rate, a bit choppy, but still we had a bit of a losing streak here, but still way better results just by trade selection. And this is what I'm gonna talk about when I come back, is trade selection, because trade selection is big. Like, look at this, like it's a crazy week here. This was 5%, 1%, 6%, not almost 10% weeks, and I've seen 10% weeks in person. So yeah, we're gonna see. I'm gonna go probably smoke a bit, just gonna chill a bit before the session starts again. We're probably just gonna it's back testing, bro. Back testing. That was back testing. I was just trying to make my win rate higher. That's what I did. Yeah, FX replay all the time. But yeah, it had good results just by trading A plus setups only. It makes a huge fucking difference, and that's what I did in my break-even phase as well. But the thing is, I was always, when I would reach either minus 4% or minus 8%, at first, this was when I had discomfort. And when I would reach minus 4%, I would lock in. I would decide, okay, I'm trading only A plus setups because I want to get out of drawdown, because I don't want to lose the account. Then I would start grinding higher in my equity curve. Then my trade selection would fall, because the only thing that was making me take those A plus setups was the discomfort from drawdown. And then when I would reach back into above break even and in profit, my trade selection would fall, and I start taking bullshit setups, and I'd be back. Now I'm gonna reach minus 4% again, gonna lock in trade selection, take only A plus setups again, and this was the break even phase. The thing is, you gotta keep your trade selection consistent, and not something you can do once or while I'm in drawdown and recover the account, and just my trade selection falls and I take shitty setups. That's not doable. The thing you should do is choose only A plus setups on a consistent basis. Every single fucking day you're present on the charts. An A plus setup doesn't mean a valid trade. All the setups are valid trades, right? You're not looking at invalid trades. But your valid trades are gonna be A plus, they're gonna be A, they're gonna be B and C. Now your job to make your win rate as high as possible is choose A and A plus. So out of all these valid trades that you have, you need to be able to identify that they're lower probability and choose to only trade those A plus, because those have the highest win rate. And you actually saw it in this was the test I did, this was the experiment I did in my back testing. You saw it went from a 33% win rate by me, basically meaning break even almost, by choosing bullshit setups, to a 53% just by choosing higher quality setups. My mic is on the max, bro. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna, sometimes HyperX fucks my microphone for some reason, but yeah. It's at max. Let me see if there's a setting in this shit, but should be fine. It's still at max, so yeah, just choose A plus setups. That's the conclusion. That's how big of an impact it has on win rate, for 33 to 53. That's what makes it profitable. And from a 50% month in profit compared to, did I save this, to a fucking 1% month. It makes a huge fucking difference just by choosing to trade better setups. A big fucking difference by just by trading better setups. So definitely. And how do you choose better setups or higher win rate setups? By not trading into bullshit consolidation. This is where your trade loses a lot of win rate, and we see that we rejected really heavily here. That's how you can avoid low probability setups. High probability setups are going to happen in low resistance, where price has an easy time to deliver. That's when you see those high R's. When price has an easy time to deliver, it doesn't have orders fighting, right? As we see here, like this was a low resistance area, price just fucking melts to it. And when it reaches high resistance, it starts fucking struggling. Like, I've been in so many trades like this when price just starts struggling and doesn't go. and ends up either mitigating break even or stopping me out and going into my favor because of this bullshit ass devils. These are devils, bro. Just avoid these bullshits. Gold might be working hard, but I don't know if I want to be trading this. As I said, my draw is here. It's way better for me to be waiting. Like, see here, I have the opportunity. I can trade this setup, right? I can trade this setup, but this is like a B setup. B setup at most. I just don't want to be trading. Even if it's in low resistance, it doesn't matter. For me, this is a retracement trade. For me, second of all, it's cold in London, bro. Gold doesn't print in London. Very rarely prints like this. These days they print, but here is how usually London behaves in gold. So very rare we get some delivery on gold. That's the thing in London. I think in this case it should be easier, but still not gonna trade unless I see something really clear. This could have been a London Open, like straight off the bat. Take it like here and look to target the high, this being a partial level. This could have been the idea straight off the bat, but I'm not gonna take it. Neither gonna take GU, because on GU, as I said that before, I don't need to say it again. And Euro, not even that. Euro lacks clarity on higher time frame. AU does look good. Does look good. I do like how AU looks, but we're finishing the retracement here, so I can't be shorting no more. I'm gonna go probably drink a coffee. I'm gonna come back. This day doesn't look like we're gonna trade. I'm probably still gonna watch charts, but I'm very likely just gonna keep backtesting, because now I'm really looking to compound data on my A+ setups and see, I don't know, just get more proof that this is the right choice to do, to trade. I mean, it's very obvious. Like, even GBT said that, let me see if I can find that shit. Even GBT said that your win rate is 60% dependent on trade selection, bro. Like, that's crazy. I didn't think it's that big of a percentage. Just removing the unnecessary losses. Most unnecessary losses are solved here. Great selection can make a 50% win rate edge look like 75 just by cutting the junk, and that's what made my strategy going from 33% to 53. Execution and timing only 20%. Psychology 10%. Like, GBT just fucking debunked the myth of 90% psychology, 10% technicals. It looks like it's the opposite way around, actually. And trade management only 5%. It is, I mean, I would kind of put it bigger, trade management, but yeah, apparently more than half of your win rate or more than half of your profitability is dependent on your trade selection. And again, trade selection, we're not talking about trading only valid setups. When we talk about trade selection, you should be already trading only valid setups. We're talking about choosing only the highest quality trades out of these valid trades that you have on your strategy. That's what trade selection is. But yeah, we see here, even he said, you already know this in backtest, trading from, not towards consolidations. This is a very important, so apparently this is the most important part of your edge, which is trade selection. Even the other thing, execution and timing, are bullshit. I mean, yeah, probably it's gonna be easier because 1 hour it's easier to hold. 1 hour you shouldn't have any trade management, you shouldn't have anything. If holding 2 hour trades or 3 hour trades like stirs emotions within you, it's just better off not to trade 2 hour and trade 1 hour. And or if your size is making you uncomfortable or is triggering emotional issues, you size down. You get what I mean? So it might be a good choice. Yeah, but psychology is just the basis. It's the thing you struggle with when you're starting out trading, because you have to rewire your brain, you have to detach from the results, you have to build this new identity, this new person that has all these different beliefs about trading that no one is born with. That's why most people see psychology is 90%, but in reality it's not really it. It's just the basis. Psychology, the only thing it can do bad for you is get into your way of you executing your edge, and that's why you're solving your psychology. But if you don't have an edge in the first place, why are you even solving psychology? Yeah, apparently, I don't know if this is true, but psychology definitely has a high impact when you're trading, but I wouldn't really say 90%. I would still say edges. Round numbers, okay. Nu știu, însemnând nivele psihologice, probabil am auzit de chestia asta. I'm gonna demo this just for fun. Like, that's what I'm gonna do when I get bored, and when I don't have trades, I'm just gonna demo them, even if it's overextended. Estimating money in practice for main order only. The fuck is you mean, bro? What if he just takes my money from a live account? But yeah, psychology apparently not that big. I feel like it's big at the start of the journey. I think like people say that psychology is 90% and 10% technicals because most people just blindly respect a system. That's why it seems so simple, but it's not, bruh. It's not that simple. You're not just gonna blindly respect rules and expect high profitability. Blindly respecting rules, and I'm gonna say this over and over again and get hated on by it, is gonna make you 30 to, at most in the best case scenarios, 50% win rate. That's a stock strategy, and that's very inconsistent. So if you want to achieve like high levels of profitability and like big consistently, like not like taking money out the market 10 months out of 12, that's gonna be done through intuition, not blindly respecting the rule system. Blindly respecting the system is you're probably gonna have like 4 losing months per year, and no one really wants to go through that realistically. For me, that I just didn't like it. So let me look in where's my stats, bro? I need to clean up my Notion. God damn, where is my statsy, bro? Here. I showed this a lot of times, but yeah, 40% win rate. Like, this is just bullshit, man. This is just kind of bullshit. I mean, this was very little trades. I think this was like, look at this. This is almost break even. Like, you cannot come here and tell me this is a high win rate strategy. This is how I want profitability to look like. Hell nah, man. The fuck is you saying, bro? This is not high quality. I don't know, profitability. It's not profitability one. This is, I barely reach. How much is this? Like 15% in 1 year. 15% in 1 year is very mediocre, very average, and I made, remember on the other account that we had yesterday, like this week, I made 50% in 1 month. Depends on what you want. Do you want the best that you can get out of yourself, or you're just fine with mediocrity? That's up to you. I mean, this had 2 losing months, but still very mediocre profits. Only January was really good here. Then 1%, 2% break even, minus 2% break even. Like, see, like break even. I mean, not break even, losing month, 1%, 1%. Bruh, like making 1% in a month ain't it for me, bro. Ain't for me. Da. Sunt nivele foarte importante, nivele psihologice, așa știam eu că le zice. Very important levels. But yeah, this is just not profitability you should be aspiring towards, bro. Like, why would you choose this when there's so much out there? Only if you include something uncertain, which is intuition. Something people prefer to avoid because it's scary. Because it's uncertain. It's not a rule-based system. It's something that varies. It's something uncertain. That's why people out of here, they just choose mediocrity and they're fine with this, bro. I wouldn't be fine. I couldn't sleep at night knowing that this is how I'm, like, this is my profitability. Are you fucking serious, bro? Like, if there's so much more out there, why would you stop at this? Why would you stop at this when you can achieve? I mean, even these is way better than that equity curve, I'm not gonna lie. And this was a 30% win rate when you can achieve something like that. And this win rate, it went over, like I kept backtesting and it went over running pretty strongly. Sadly, I lost my FX replay account because the free trial was over. But yeah, this is also like, yeah, this was bad. But even though I was using my intuition here, it's just that I had these big red months. but still pretty decent, like 2%, 4%, 6%. Yeah, but I want to finish, like my plan is finishing a whole year of only 8+ setups and seeing if this month can at least replicate, I don't know, like 4 times. But yeah, it makes a big difference if you use intuition. That's all I'm gonna say in terms of results, in terms of consistency, in terms of everything you want. This is looking good. It's just definitely not a trade I want to be taking. Definitely not. So very likely not gonna be trading today. DAX is probably gonna print bearish by the looks of it here. Yeah, like you said about psychological levels, even though I see 100 here, 200 here, which is where we stalled, and this is probably 500. Yeah, they always react. It's a good strategy. It's a good strategy. Price reacts off these levels because people are definitely, like hedge funds and things like that, are definitely trading around these high levels. I would say especially like bigger, like this is where a lot of orders will come in, like 13400. This one, 13400 and 13500. I feel like they're pretty big pivotal points, even though not huge reactions. But yeah, hedge funds are definitely trading around these levels. Yeah, we'll see if this fails, but I'm gonna go drink another coffee. I'm gonna get ready for backtesting because I really want to be serious right now. I want to be backtesting hella a lot. If the market doesn't present any opportunity, that's fine. I'm gonna backtest. I don't want to be glued to the charts because right now I just want to get more data. That what I'm doing is right. Yeah, I'm gonna be back in like a couple of minutes. I mean, not really couple. I would say like 15 minutes. I'm gonna let you sit with this, and yeah, I'm gonna be back and backtest. see. Okay, God, let's see. Choppy not doing shit, but yeah, still a demo trade, so it doesn't fucking matter whatsoever. Now I do want to make a bit of structure because I do want to make a YouTube video out of this. And this week I'm gonna finally start posting some YouTube videos. So let's start with Excalibur because this is where I want to make my kind of script. So this is usually what profitability comes from. So we already talked about this, and weed is one of the things that I want to talk about. So weed and trade selection is gonna be yeah, kind of the script. So 1 second, let me do like this. So trade selection, why is trade selection so fucking important? That's the question. Because on your strategy you're gonna have valid setups. You're only gonna trade valid setups, but you have to understand that there are 60% win rate trades, there are 50% win rate trades, there are 40% win rate trades, and there are 30% win rate trades in your strategy. No matter what fucking strategy you have, this is usually how things go, right? And you have to understand, why is it trading all these setups so inconsistent? Because you depend upon market randomness. So let's illustrate a week, right? Why I was periodically profitable. Let's illustrate a week. Because in a week there are gonna be, you're basically very dependent on market randomness. That's the thing. So bro, why is the text so fucking small? Jesus. Okay, I'm not gonna do that shit. When you're trading without trade selection, you're very dependent upon market randomness. So you might have, let's say this is our week, right? You might have like this, you might have 3 A+ setups in a week, and then you make like, I don't know, 10% and be like, oh my god, this was such a good week. This was such a good week. Then the next week, what you're gonna go through is a C setup, a C setup, and a B setup. Then you're gonna be like, oh my god, you actually lose. And be, what the fuck, why am I going through a period like this? Why am I losing now? I just won 10% last week. Why am I losing now? What the fuck is happening? Well, it's because you're not actively filtering for only A+ setup. You're very dependent upon market randomness, which means a random distribution in between the quality of your setup. So it can mean, it can also mean like this. You're very dependent upon market randomness. Your results are very dependent upon market randomness. So this can be a break-even week. So depending on what the market is giving you, your results will just kind of fluctuate. But what you can do, and why trade selection is so important, is because you're actively choosing only to trade the highest win rate setups, and therefore avoid this bullshit ass fucking trades. That's what makes such a huge difference. Because now this is without trade selection. Now let's think about with trade selection. What are you gonna do? How is your profits gonna look like? And this is why it makes such a big difference. So if you keep trading this week, if you're only filtering for A+ setup, this is gonna be a no trade week, and this is gonna be like a 4% week. So already in terms of result on a total, here you would have been at plus 5% on the total in these 3 weeks, or this month we can call it, and here you would be plus 14. How big this difference actually is, and this is the exact reason why I say trade selection is very important. Even GBT himself said that trade selection is 60% of your win rate. It's 60, so more than half of your profitability depends upon trade selection. So it's very clear, right? It's very clear now. So let me go over this. These are gonna be filtered. Gonna make this a bit more clear. Let's make this like this, boom. Because like here, what you're gonna do is filter those bullshit setups when you're actively choosing only to trade the A+ ones, and that's gonna make you way more highly probable. When you're not using trade selection, you're very dependent upon market randomness. That's why you see this inconsistency in your trading. So this is how this is why you see this inconsistency in your trading, because you have these winning streaks. When are these winning streaks going to happen? When the market randomly distributes a lot of A plus setup back to back, and then we see here that the next week it distributed only dog shit setups, and then again it's very inconsistent. You see random distribution of losses, big ass losing streaks and very little winning streaks. This is the perfect reason. And now we're gonna also use the comparison I did, which is the experiment I did is only choosing A plus setups. So all trades, I think the gold trade just got stopped out. So this meaning, oops, this here meaning we're trading every setup that is valid on the strategy. We're not talking about invalid setups at this point. We're talking about a bit more advanced trading. We're not talking about you learning to stick to your rules, and this is A plus only. This is why it's so fucking important. Not only it's dependent on your profitability, but it massively increases your percentage that you make. It's such a huge difference on choosing only to trade A plus setups. I always I don't know what you're talking about. I do trade DAX as well. But today not really. But yeah, coming back to the subject is very, very important. And that's why we saw that in the experiment that I did. This is how how big of a difference it makes. This was 33%. Let me actually do like this. Let me go back. Let me copy this. This was trading every single setup that was present on the market was 32% win rate. That's dog shit. That's break even, Gengi. The only reason why this equity curve was profitable is because of risk to reward. 33% win rate compared to 53%. It's a big ass fucking difference, Gengi. It's a big ass fucking difference because you're actively picking only the highest quality trades, and this is what makes such a big fucking difference. It's unreal. Such a huge fucking difference. Not like this, my bad. So is there even a question in mind that it's worth or not to do this? And keep in mind that look here. Where is our data on this? 2025. Let me see. Do we have the same month in this? We do have the same month, 2025. Look at this. How much was made here on January? 15% in 1 month, right? Compared to this dog shit fucking trading every setup that is present. Look at this, 1%, bro. Like, is there even a question in mind that it is now worth to trade A plus setups? Like, this shouldn't be really even crossing your mind at this point. Like, look at this shit, bro. It's the same strategy except trading only A plus setups. Like, bro, this is a huge fucking difference. It's not something small. This is going from almost break even to 50% a month. It's crazy. It's backtesting, bro. This is backtesting. It's FX replay. Look how big of a difference it makes. Jesus fucking Christ. Only trading A plus setups, and you know we're backed by GBT. So everything I'm saying is backed by GBT, which said that your win rate is 60% dependent on the trades, on trade selection. And it makes a big ass fucking difference. Is there even a question? Like, from now on, I'm gonna do only A plus trades. And I wanna also kind of emphasize in my journey what I did with trade selection and why I was break even for so long. You have to understand that the biggest reason why why traders are break even is because of trade selection. It's that simple. Because you have unnecessary losses. Going from break even to profitable is not a matter of winning more. It's a matter of losing less. That's basically it. And that's what happened a lot of times in my journey, and that's why I was break even and still not doing great, still at minus 8%. But whatever is gonna happen with the account, it doesn't really matter because I'm still gonna buy a new one. But if you lose, but I still think it's still very, very possible to be recovering this. So let's go a bit over this right here. How was I using trade selection? This, do I have still my snipping tool? Okay, good. So let's understand. We see, where's my pen? Okay, so we see that every time I was reaching a place of discomfort, like minus 4%, I would start locking in. What did I lock in? Trade selection. I would be here, I would be discomfort, I would realize that, okay, I don't want to lose the account, I'm in drawdown, I want to pass this shit. Then I would lock in trading only A plus setups, and then this happens, right? I start growing. Then I reach this point where I'm comfortable in like 5-6%, And then I forget about my trade selection and I start trading dog shit B and C setups, and look what that causes. And then I reach again minus 4%. I lock in for one trade, again have a reaction, and it just keeps going over and over again. Even here in minus 8%, why doesn't my undo not work, bro? Even here when I was at minus 8%, you know what this winning streak was caused by? Me choosing a A plus fucking setups. And this is how consistent profitability is obtained, through consistently trading A plus setups. Not you lock in when you're in drawdown, then when you're in profit you forget about a trade selection and you start trading B and C setups. That's not how you do it, and this is what I'm realizing, right? It's something that you gotta be consistent. Of course there were a lot of things that I fixed, like going from break even to profitable. It's a lot about refining, to be honest. It's so much about refining. It's not only trade selection, but trade selection is definitely the biggest reason. I refined a lot of things. I refined execution, I refined trade management, I refined, you have to maximize and refine every single thing of this to achieve profitability and to make them consistent. But the biggest reason is definitely trade selection, not taking unnecessary losses, which bro, like if you were to remove the unnecessary losses from my equity curve, that would already been passing like 5 fucking accounts, to be honest. Already passing 5 fucking accounts. This was a period where I was profitable. Why? Because I was, first of all, I was locked in. Second of all, I was trading A plus setup. My A plus setup is, I would actually say this is how my A plus setup is. So let's see if I can actually find, I'm probably gonna use a trade I actually caught. So yeah, that's probably the best example to be used. So this I think was an A plus setup, but this was the A plus setup I took. So for me, it's a buy side liquidity into 2 gaps. This is my A plus setup. I mean 2 gaps or 2 inverses. Here we had buy side liquidity taken, 1 inverse, second inverse here, and I was trading off that inverse to take the sell side. This is my textbook setup, and I got 5R on the trade. We see that price just broke below this inverse, confirmed that we're going lower. That was my second confluence. Then on the retest of it, I took shorts targeting this easy low resistance sell side, and price ended up easily running towards these 5R pre-easy trade, and then price also actually ended up running towards a 15R. So this is how my A plus setup looks like. It's just that this I need to trade, and this was the trade I took here at minus 8%, an A plus setup, and that fucking, I made 4% that day, and then again started taking dog shit trades, but that's okay. This is my A plus setup. It was very textbook in a lot of terms. Even if the potential was 15R, I still made like 5R. A plus setup is also a good subject for discussion. Is how do you determine your A plus setups? How do you make the difference between A plus, A, B, or C? How do you make the difference? Well, mostly depends. I would say even if you're a strictly mechanical trader, this is where you should use your intuition on filtering trades. There are some rules that you can look to distinguish between those, like, I don't know, have bonus confluences or whatever, but for me I just use high conviction. On these trades I'm going to be very highly convicted that they're going to work, and that's how I know they're a quality setup. And usually also one thing that determines an A plus setup is resistance. I don't want to see resistance in the path I'm trading. I don't want to see resistance like we are in this case. This makes this a very risky setup to be taken, even if it's going to work right here. Even if it's gonna work, high resistance makes such a huge difference in low probability setups, on high probability setups, and you deciding to skip those, even if the setup looks A plus, if the setup looks like the best setup possible, if you're trading into this bullshit right here, it's so highly likely that the setup is gonna fail. It loses so much win rate, even if it's the textbook trade. Even if this trade that I took that went to 15R, even if this was in a high resistance scenario, it was very likely to fail. So high resistance is one thing that I definitely use to be filtering. Low resistance, here, we're here. That's what I want to be trading. That's how I determine usually how I skip those, by low resistance, or also news can be a thing. There are a lot of things that come into determining a grade of a setup. But news, for example, today we know that today is a low probability day because look at this. Not this. Why is always putting in June, bro? We know that today is a low probability day because we only have this. So is this day gonna really provide an A plus setup? Very unlikely. Very unlikely this is gonna provide an A plus setup. One thing again. Second, cleanness. How clean is your setup? Do you have doubts? Do you have opposing PD arrays? That also matters a lot. Like in this case, this was also a decent trade, but it was just going against bias again. That going against bearish bias here, and I was wanting to trade towards this 4-hour AVG to draw towards it, but this has a really low chance of happening because we're going against bias and it's very risky. Second of all, first of all we're going against bias, and second of all we're trading London in gold. We're trading gold in London, which is dog shit. My risk management is usually dynamic, but most of the times I have like a pretty simple thing. I enter with 1% my main position, for example this, and when price mitigates break even and gives another entry pattern, I'm entering another 0.5, like a scaling. 1.5 I usually enter my trades. Of course this trade doesn't work, but that's not the point. And usually my main position I close at around 2 to 3R, and the runner I leave towards a 5. That's how I usually trade, and that's how I traded also here. Here I actually had a scaling. I didn't mark it, but see here, this was my scaling price. I think, let me see if I can show. It would be nice for both the orders to be in the same place, but my main position I think was here, and when price just mitigated break even and gave me another confluence of holding lower, I just entered 0.5. The scaling I ended up holding towards the 5R, and the main position I closed around 2 here. That's kind of what I always do. Most of the time I always do this. So 1% and 0.5 on scalings. I have a high risk than most people. I think this is kind of the perfect spot if you think about it. 1% is kind of too little, and 2% is too much, and 1.5 is kind of the perfect spot for me. And always scaling, and like that's how I trade. But depends. If you're talking about partials and things, it gets a bit more complicated, because on partials I really do use intuition a lot. But 1% on main, 0.5 on scaling. That's probably for me at least the best way to be traded. My model. I don't have a lot of trades. I have 2 trades per week in general, A+ talking. So yeah. But coming back to bruh, like this makes a huge fucking difference. Only trading A+ setups, and I want to also talk about this because it's so important. How do you adopt change? How do you adopt change? How do I start now, coming from an inconsistent trader in an A+ setups? How do I now come and actually hold and trade only A+ setups over and over again? Well, it first starts with identity. Like, people don't understand this, and that's why I want to become a kind of person and trying to bring light on these things. Why does this change start with identity? Because this is every time where change starts, and long-lasting change starts in your brain or in your self-image. You can also call identity self-image. You can call it that if you want to, but let's go over. Okay, why does this matter? Because every self-image always drives behavior, right? If you think about yourself as an athletic person, your actions will automatically follow that image. You're automatically going to start working out, eating healthy, and so on. If you think yourself as a profitable trader, if your self-image is as a profitable trader, your actions will automatically follow that image. You're automatically going to start acting as a profitable trader. So what is our goal? We want to be trading A+ setups consistently. So how do we change our self-image to a person that trades A+ setups consistently? Well, we gotta use phrases, because here we're attacking our subconscious. So we gotta use repeating phrases. So how are we gonna do that? I don't even know. I'm a trader that trades. It sounds weird. Only A+ setups. So, or I only trade setups. Or I only trade A+ setups. Whatever. This is how you anchor. Yeah, manifestation, but this is generally how change starts. Always. It's kind of is manifestation or law of attraction. So by you repeating this to yourself over and over again, I'm a trader that only trades A+ setups. I'm a trader that only trades A+ setups. What is gonna happen? Your self-image is gonna start changing, and you're gonna see yourself as a trader that trades only A+ setups. And what is gonna happen then? Your actions are gonna follow naturally. You don't have to force yourself. Your actions are automatically gonna follow. Self-image always dictates behavior. Self-image dictates behavior and personality. So we gotta start with the root cause. So a lot of a big issue that I did myself a lot of times is try force my actions before changing my self-image, trying to stick to A plus setups, trying to force my actions, but it would never last because I wouldn't start with the where the self-image was. My image was still not of a trader that only trades A plus setups, and even if my actions reflected that, I would still return to taking those bullshit trades, and it would be this loop. So long-lasting change always starts from identity or self-image. Then your actions are very naturally gonna follow. You don't even have to force yourself to stick to A plus setups because in your mind you already became that person. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is something that most people are not even aware of. And it's something so easy and makes change so easy and long lasting that is like a cheat code, bro. And people don't use this. And this is, you gotta use this shit. You're gonna change as a trader so much that it would be a shame not to use it, to be honest. You're gonna need to change your beliefs and so many things about you that you need to have this knowledge in mind. First, start with identity. Start repeating phrases to yourself, then actions will automatically follow. That's pretty much it. It's that simple. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna tell myself I'm gonna trade that trades only A plus setup. I'm gonna trade that only trades A plus setups, and then my actions are automatically gonna follow. It's that simple. I use this formula also from detaching from results. I am not bound by results anymore. This is what I used to tell myself. Repeat this phrase over and over and over again until your identity starts changing. When they do, your actions are gonna follow. You're gonna start feeling like you're not attached or bound by the results anymore. And that's how you adopt every single change, every single fucking change. I don't over leverage anymore. I'm a trader that only takes one trade per day. I only take one trade per day. Every single thing that you want to change in your trading or you want to adopt is going to start from here. That simple, not very complicated. It's a simple formula. You want to adopt something, you pick a phrase, you repeat it yourself over and over and over and over again for it to get into your subconscious where your identity resides, and then actions would automatically follow. This is the loop you gotta use for every single thing you want to adopt. And this is what I use. I'm talking about experience. I'm not talking about some fancy bullshit that I read online. This is generally how I changed as a person. Now, if you would know me how I was when I started this journey, it would be like you wouldn't even recognize me anymore. This is again gonna be a demo. It looks very bad. I don't like the setup. I'm just always gonna be trading demos to see kinda if I'm right that the setup is very risky. Let's see. Why does this estimated money impact speaks for main orders only? What do you mean, bruh? I don't know what this shit mean, but yeah. So that's how you change. That's how I'm gonna adopt now, taking only A plus setups. It's not complicated. It's just a formula that most people are not aware of, and they're not aware of the fact that you need to start in identity first, or in your self-image. How do you see yourself? If you see yourself as a person that takes A plus trades every single day, your actions are automatically gonna follow. That's pretty much it. It's very simple if you understand this formula, or if you apply it. Change needs to start in the root, not the end result. Actions are the end result. You need to start in the root. What's actually driving your actions, and it's identity or self-image. So yeah. Also weed, but I'm not really gonna talk. I think I talked about weed before, so I don't want to really talk about it. But don't do that shit, bruh. Don't do that shit. That shit affects you way more than you think. You cannot ever be turning profitable if you use weed. I'm gonna hold that forever, because weed, first of all, nullifies your focus, bro. Nullifies your focus. That's really fucking bad. You need focus in trading. It's a very focus dependent job. First of all, it fucks your focus. Second of all, it kind of disintegrates or scatters your energy. You're automatically not gonna be in that alignment state or that high frequency state if you smoke weed. Weed nullifies your intuition, which, funny enough, for me, it's my edge. My intuition comes from my edge. It's gonna nullify that. It's gonna make you lazier. It's gonna pull you back into old habits. It's impossible, bro, to succeed with that. Like, it's way too hard to the point where you just gotta drop it, and that's what I'm doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it, what I wanted to talk about. Let's see the other pairs. Okay, UK ended up melting. We did reach our area, so I'm gonna pay attention, but I would want to see like a failed swing here. I'm not really gonna be willing to trade unless I see a failed swing, and then towards New York we see that entry here and we target these equal highs. But like buying from here in this big ass displacement leg is kind of risky, and I don't want to be doing that. The inverse does look good. It's not an A plus setup, but I'm just gonna monitor. It's a very simple continuation. I would call this a B setup, because we don't have liquidity rates into this POI. Yeah, I would still like to see some liquidity. I would like to see London lows, either London lows getting swept here or some type of liquidity rate to be able to trade this. AUD I actually said this is a good pair on reaching lower. Now we're inversing, so it does become slightly valid to be looking off the retest here. But look, what do we have here? High resistance. So at this point, I'm not even going to start or try and force a trade in high resistance. I know how much high resistance impacts my win rate or my profits or whatever. So is it really worth it to force a trade on the first day of the week? Not really. Even if I have 3 weeks of no trades, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be here every single day and waiting for that A plus setup. And I'm not gonna chase perfection, but I'm gonna wait for an A plus setup like the one that we just had, which I talked about in my Notion. But yeah, this is probably gonna work. But even if it's gonna work, does it mean I should have taken it? Hell nah, bruh. Hell nah. First of all, it wasn't valid. I needed to see a 1 hour gap here. I mean, let me think. Not really. Not necessarily. I didn't need to see a 1 hour gap, but we're trading in high resistance. Now this is not gonna make me doubt. Of course, when you're filtering only for A plus setup, there's gonna be low probability setup that end up working. You need to be able to handle that well emotionally and not starting to doubt yourself. Okay, maybe I should have taken this, maybe I should have taken this. Let's say this is a B setup. This has 40% win rate. Even if you see it win now, it doesn't mean it's gonna win or be profitable in the long term. This is just one case where it wins. This is how a market distributes, right? Yeah, and it was just too risky to be trading off this massive sell side sweep. I think it was risky, high resistance. We do have equal lows, I do agree, but I just prefer not to trade this. I would also like to see a 1 hour gap here. And let's look at the displacement here. What does the displacement actually present? I mean, we had this gap which I did monitor. We kind of came for this trend line or relative trend line liquidity. Then we had a bullish reaction of the inverse because we kind of inverse this. Then what do we end up doing? Failing to break higher, respect that FVG, and on the move lower on the gap that formed here, entry. Didn't even tap the gap actually. Didn't even tap the gap, it tapped this inverse. But yeah, looks like it's melting, but again, I don't really care, to be honest. This is what you're gonna experience when you decide to filter for the A plus setup. You're gonna filter a lot of trades that are gonna go work in your favor. The thing is, you gotta switch your mindset and understand that even though you see this work right now, and even though you could have made money or whatever, you have to understand that on the long term, this shit is not good for you, and it's gonna make you lose more than you win. And that's something hard to do when, yeah, especially when you're a beginner, because it's hard not to get affected by you seeing a trade that you skip to work or go into profit, because you keep thinking about, oh my god, what if I actually made this? What if I actually made this? I could have made like 2, 3, 4%, whatever. That's how I think every single one of us was when we started trading, and we would miss a trade or we would skip a trade that ended up working, or we do all of these things. We would be so stuck on the trade and on the fact that we could have made money that it would just like destroy us mentally. But at this point, I'm not even, bro, I don't even care. I just care about me taking the best trade I can right now to increase the chances of me recovering the account, and especially keeping it consistent. This looks more decent to be holding lower, but come on, not a valid trade. Not a valid trade. Let's see Euro. What did Euro do? Just massively melted. But yeah, kind of weird for a low probability day to have this much momentum. I think why we're doing this is because we stalled a long time here, and Asia opened in very, very premium prices, and it had a lot of orders to fill here from this high, and that's why we see that big ass movement. But in terms of trade, was there a valid trade? Hell nah. There was this pretty good fractal build here. I think on the 1 minute there should have been an entry. Yeah, look at this. Imagine catching this. If you catch this, it would have been crazy. See if we stop loss at the high. What are we targeting here? We're definitely targeting this low. Where's my order? Okay, so we would have targeted this low like 3.7 in a couple minutes. Does this mean I should have taken this? Nah, it's just a nice trade that could have happened. Some people that scalp can be taking this shit because it's kind of like a 50-minute MVG. Again, kind of high resistance, yeah, but still ended up working. Maybe there's actual people that actually caught this. It was decent. Let's see UJ. Okay, UJ now reached the high resistance area, so we don't want to be trading that shit. Yeah, not really great trades today, and this week is gonna be a bit difficult to manage. It's gonna be a bit difficult to manage because we have a lot of news, and to be honest, not even after 3 years of experience, I don't even know how to manage this week properly. Okay, Monday, simple, low probability day, relatively fine to be traded in, but in this day we just know that for start we don't look for more than 2-3 hour. We're not gonna have huge printing. Well, apparently we did kind of have, but yeah. Tuesday, we have nice news. Jolts is nice news. Job opening is nice news to be trading around, but look what we have the next day. FOMC. Let's think about it. We have a lot of news. Let me remove CAD because CAD, I feel like I don't know why the fuck do I have CAD. CHF, CNI, I don't care about this shit. Probably gonna leave this. This is fine. So let's see, what do we have Wednesday. Wednesday we have ADP NFP. This is nice. ADP NFP happened in this trade right here. We were trading in ADP NFP day when this trade ended up running towards 15 hour. So we might be trading this, but we're probably gonna only looking to be trading London, and we gotta be really careful at holding this because it's not only ADP, it's advanced GDP, bro. I don't know what these weeks are, to be honest. Like, it's combining news. We have FOMC and we have NFP in the same fucking week. I have no idea. Sometimes this happens. I've seen it on backtesting as well, but I have no idea why it happens. Thursday is gonna be a good day to be trading around. I do like this news. Thursday is gonna be good. Wednesday we gotta definitely be careful. Like, come on. The thing that is nice about FOMC is because it happens so late in New York session. It happens in PM session. You usually have decent delivery in London, but we definitely don't want to be. This is gonna be hella fucking volatility. It's gonna be hella fucking volatility here. It's gonna be hella fucking volatility here. When in that week that I traded, let's go back 4 weeks when I took that GU trade. I don't know, see here, this, like, see, this was pure NFP. Now we have NFP and FOMC. I don't know why, but in this day that we traded, this was a good day. See, we only had an ADP NFP in this trade, but well, if you look at it now, not really chilling to be considering trading like that, because we have also advanced, which this is a pre-volatile news, and we also have FOMC. So hell nah. On most London usually prints in FOMC day. London will most likely be fine, but New York on Wednesday, hell nah. Let's see Thursday. Thursday, I said Thursday and Friday are gonna be we actually have NFP on Friday. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to manage this week. Where Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I mean, the whole week is hard to manage except today. Tuesday we gotta, I mean, tomorrow probably is gonna be decent as well, but it's gonna be a hard fucking day to manage, ain't gonna lie. A hard fucking week. This is what I need to study more, and knowing, I do want to know exactly, or kind of have a plan in mind on how to approach certain days. For example, I want to study more to reach a point where I just see this. I see this, for example, this day, and I know, okay, this day I'm only looking to trade London. This day I'm only looking to trade after news. This day I'm only gonna do that. So kind of having enough experience and enough data to know exactly how to approach days like this. Now I don't really know. Most people say just avoid news. Most people say trade news or do whatever you want. But I feel like there's so much more to be unraveled, I think, about news and how you can approach them. Because there are some red impact news that are worth trading. There are some red impact news that you can leave your trade run inside of. So for example, on PMI, if you have a trade before PMI, most of the times in PMI it's fine to leave your trade open because it doesn't manipulate often. But when you're trading NFP, hell nah. Hell nah, bro. So it depends, like it really depends a lot on. That's what I want to study more. Gonna be next. Now let's see. I'm really curious if the setup is gonna fail because of the high resistance, and we end up filtering a bullshit trade, just because of high resistance. That's what I'm curious about. I mean, I can't really say. Really, I'm biased in price action like this. Why I say it's very likely to fail the setup is because of the sell side. Just massive sell side. That is one factor, and second factor is this. Gold still gonna wait for that. That still probably still gonna be bullish. We just retrace for the 30 minutes. I'm still waiting. This is an A plus setup for me. This New York setup. So this can be a really good setup for New York. If you retrace towards for this 4 hour, and here what I'm gonna wait for is for a 1 hour gap to be trading off, and look what we're targeting. Low resistance equal lows. This is gonna be really nice. This is a textbook setup or an A plus setup that I would call in my opinion. If you continue on being bearish, of course. 4 hour FVG looking to target the sell side. Really easy draw. There's only one thing. I need to see 1 hour gap form from here to confirm. This is how I use, and this is why it's very important to use gaps. I use 1 hour gaps to confirm an FVG, like most people use to wait for a market structure shift, which is a switching momentum. I wait for a 1 hour FVG to kind of confirm that this 4 hour has some sellers behind it. When I see that, then I'm gonna look for a retest and entry lower time frames. First target this low, really nice, and second target is gonna be equal lows. This can be a really good fucking trade if we get it, and it's kind of suiting the profile of a New York reversal here. And I do want to see London come higher, because I'm gonna show you how usually a New York reversal looks like. This is how, I mean, this is a bullish case. I do want to kind of see a bearish case. This is also impulsive. Let me see. Oh, I do remember this trade, but this is again, this is a weirder variation of the setup. But usually Asia and London are very retractive, and they retrace within overall range. This is a bullish case. Let me see if I can actually find a bullish case, just to kind of illustrate. This was again a London. This was kind of similar, right? But again, this is bullish. Fuck me, bro. Can I find a bearish case? Nah, this is bullish again. Come on, bro. Only bullish, bro. Why you taking a? Oh, okay. Finally one short. This was kind of close call, but it is now. You can kind of see what I'm getting at. London and Asia and London retrace within the overall bearish range, and then of the sweep of London highs here, we wait for the sweep of London highs and we take the shorts. This is exactly what I did here. It was a pretty garbage entry, and here I wasn't trading with my current model, which is waiting for a 1 hour gap. But yes, it's a good New York reversal. New York reversal, one very signature move that helps you determine and your reversal is Asia and London very slowly retraces. Very slow retrace, lacks volatility, and overall retraces within the range that we have. So in this case, we have a clear bearish range. What does that mean? Asia and London slowly go higher, retracing towards a POI. That's exactly what happened here. This is how you're able to determine a good New York reversal. And usually I wait for London sweep high to get swept, and then I entry. I want to see if we have better trades. I don't have a lot of data. I should be getting back into getting a bit more data on my setups, but yeah. UJ, I really have a trade safe from UJ. Like, this happens so many times, but this is risk entries. I don't know if I'm very rarely doing risk entries like this anymore. In this case, the risk entry meaning we don't wait for the hour gap to confirm. We just look instantly after London lows or London highs get swept. We instantly look for buys. In this case, why I would have looked at it and I would still look at it is because of this low and the POI being really small. This is hourly, I think. I don't really see, but that's very likely being hourly, and the gap at the zone is pretty small overall. Here is a pretty big gap. So that I feel like it's a huge factor in determining whether you're taking your entry straight on the lower time frames or you're waiting for hourly gap to form. Oh, this was also pretty clean. I do remember this. We did form those equal lows, but it didn't really matter because we swept London. And then on the inversion here, I entered basically and I got tapped by this really small wick here. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, usually in this model, main target is Asian highs and previous daily highs. But yeah, we see like we're building again. I'm still probably gonna demo this even though it's risky. I just want to not get bored if that makes sense, because I do believe and I do want to test my knowledge here. That's kind of what I use demo for, testing my knowledge and seeing if I'm right or wrong, and seeing if I'm right that London is gonna retrace higher now towards that 4-hour LVG. Yeah, it's a pretty clean model. I do like New Reversal is one of my favorite models, to be honest. This was weird, a weird New Reversal here. But this is what I usually look for. Yeah, see, like there's so many ways I trade a single model. This is one model. There's so ways I can trade this. In this case, yeah, in this case we still swept London lows. I do want to see if I can find a failed swing scenario. This is probably what I would be waiting here, but I would still probably wait for 1-hour gap. Let's see if we can find this shit right here. Oh yeah, this is a fail, bro. Oh yeah, this is a failed swing. What is a failed swing means? We have a 50-minute break higher that ends up holding without taking Asian lows. So there's so many variations that you can trade on a setup. Meaning, there's 3 ways I can trade this setup depending on what my intuition is telling me. Let's understand a bit more. So first way is we're just anticipating that price will come here. First way, price comes here, sweeps London highs, and then I look for a lower time formation to just target lower. This is risky. This is a very risky thing to do. That's why it's called a risk entry, because we do not have confirmation that this 4 hours is gonna hold. Second option, which is kind of in between, is not the safest but not the baddest. It's waiting for a 50-minute swing and a retrace. A 50-minute swing that usually breaks structure, forms a gap, then wait for a retrace, and we look for another entry. This is getting confirmed as a lower high. Then we get way better chances of holding lower, because from a structural standpoint we get that lower high failure. We don't risk entry and anticipate our entries to just hold. And when considering when the zones are big, this is probably the best way to look for it. And the third option, which is the safest and the smartest way to do it, is wait for price to come here and form a big ass hourly inversion, and then look to trade out the retest. It's demo, bro. It's a demo trade. I am expecting gold to be retracing towards this 4 hour, but I'm definitely not gonna take this on my fund there, because it's way too risky, and we see that it's probably gonna fail. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can trade this, and it all depends to intuition, to be honest, and context. More like context. It depends a lot on context on how you want to trade and how is the best way to be trading certain models. For example, is considering we have risk entry, we have medium risk entry, and we have really safe low risk entry. What is probably the most suitable option to wait here? It's probably in the middle. Probably a 50-minute swing is fine here, because in terms of confluence on the 4 hour, we have 4 hour inverse to 4 hour gap, which checks our 2 confluences on looking for shorts, which makes the trade valid. Now it doesn't mean that we don't need to wait for more confluence when price reaches this area. Had UJ quick long but did not yet get tapped in. Yeah, I was kind of looking at UJ longs as well, but for me, once we reach this area, I'm invalid to be trading. Yeah, no retraces. This moves like gold, bro. Gold also move like this, like fucking these places with no regrets in life. No regrets. In this case it didn't, but most of the time it does. And see, this is why this setup is low probability, and why it's very likely to fail, because again we're trading in high resistance, and same with UJ. We're in very high resistance, which makes it very high likely to at least see a bearish reaction. I'm not saying bearish intent will hold, but at least see a bearish reaction. That's why I choose not to trade when we're reaching consolidations. Wait for that reaction lower, then potentially trade. Or another way you can go about this is trade from consolidation, not towards consolidation. But we're gonna see what it do right now. I'm really waiting for that A plus. This was low resistance delivery. Okay, this was decent here. I know I saw this buy. I don't actually remember how valid it was, but this is low resistance. This is what I would call low resistance, and this is what I would call a high probability trade. See, we have just really easy equal highs here to be reaching towards to. I think this was 1 hour inverse to 1 hour gap. On the 1 hour gap, we end up mitigating, trapping this early New York sellers. Look at this clean ass fucking breaker here. Entry of the breaker, target this equal highs. Clean low resistance, even at midnight, after New York session ended, price still had momentum to deliver into this. Why? Because there were not sellers protecting their orders here. This was very low resistance compared to this. God damn, big ass consolidation. Let's see where you did. Where did you take your entry? 1468, 14785. Oh, really? This low? I was expecting you taking probably around here, but let's see on the lower time frames. Oh, on the inversion, maybe. Am I reading it right? 14785, probably here. On the inversion, maybe. I don't know, to be honest. But you probably do. You have a 50-minute AVG? You do. I mean, yeah, just no retraces whatsoever. Sometimes UJ does this. Very rare happens on Euro and you. Yeah, I'm really kind of confident that this is gonna fail, but it's not a necessity. It can still hold this area. Well, let's see if gold goes. Again, this is probably gonna be a New York setup. This is also low resistance liquidity. Keep in mind, this is low resistance. It's just a very weak high here to get taken. Very easy as a target. The problem is, which makes this trade risky, is not high resistance. What makes this trade risky is bias. We're very bearish. So buying into a very bearish order flow instantly lowers the probability of the trade winning, no matter how much confluence you have. Instantly makes the trade riskier. Right, because we do have market structure shit, whatever you call these things. We do have this, but you know how likely this is to happen? Very unlikely. Even if the textbook, what the fuck did I say? Even if the setup looks textbook, the best setup you see, if it's counter bias or counter trend, it still has a very high chance of failing. Always. No matter how clean the liquidity is, no matter how clean it is, there might be sellers pushing price lower of this 50-minute order block that we have in Asia. There might be still sellers here just protecting their orders. Stop break even and we just continue lower. We see this 50-minute ends up holding here. So that's why the smartest way to go about this is wait for the retracement and then look to trade with bias, with draw liquidity, with POI. This is one kind of unwritten rule I use for all my trades. Is bias is all, they all come on higher time frame, right? Bias first of all, POI second, third, draw liquidity. If you have these three things pointing in the same direction, you have a high quality trade. So bias, clearly bearish. We're just respecting bearish order flow. We came off these range highs here. Bearish order flow, we see bearish gaps getting printed. We see bearish gap here. We see bearish gap here. Boom. Okay, what is our draw liquidity? The second step. Very clean draw liquidity equal lows. Very easy to be drawn towards this. Third, what is our POI? This one. Boom, that's it. We have a really high quality trade on the higher time frames. If you miss one of those, I don't usually trade. For example, if we wouldn't have a solid drawn liquidity, if we just had resistance around here, no trade. Bias, if we're against bias, no trade. If we didn't have a POI, no trade. That's it. This is allowing you, especially on the higher time frame, to really position yourself in very high probability trades. And this is what I think, no matter what your strategy is, no matter what concepts you trade, no matter what the fuck you're doing, you can be trading support and resistance or whatever. You should use these rules always, whenever you are thinking about a trade. Whenever you're thinking about a trade, you should make sure that you have these aligned: higher time frame bias, higher time frame POI, and higher time frame drawn liquidity. This determine a good read on the market and determine a high probability setup. But yeah, these setups are dog shit. We ended up respecting this gold 3 minute, but yeah, still dog shit. Gold in London, hell nah. I don't even know how to give an example on how gold is in London. Like, gold in London is like a BMW M4 with a 1 liter engine. Probably the best way to put it. It just doesn't move most of the time, and it's not worth taking the risk predicting that gold is not gonna move in London. It's not worth taking the risk. Sometimes I do trade London depending on how confident I am in the setup, but is this inspiring a lot of confidence? Hell nah. Hell nah, because we only have a gap here on our entry. That's the only confluence we have. I usually want to see a listen inverse, which we don't have, and we still have this good area here, and we still have this 50-minute VG and 50-minute inverse. Worth taking? Hell nah, bruh. Hell nah. I realized in time that is so much more like profitability comes from choosing, to be honest. I didn't realize this, but it actually comes from choosing which trades are risky to take, which trades are worth to take. That's where profitability actually comes from, because everyone can have a decent strategy and a decent trade management, and they can wake up in winning trades. But what's the hard part is kind of identifying what makes those good trades good, and then repeating only that, and only staying on those A+ setups, and only choosing the highest quality setups. That's what makes profitability, to be honest. If it would be like, this is why people are so fucking, I don't know, I feel like people are deluded or illusioned or fooled. They think that, oh, all you gotta do in trading is stick to your rules and you're gonna be profitable. You only need one strategy, one pair. Bruh. If you think that was it, why do you think 95% of people fail? Psychology is gonna be solved with time. It's not, I mean, at least in my experience, bruh. It's not gonna be it. You cannot blindly respect rules. There's so much more about trading than blindly respecting rules. That's my opinion. I'm not saying that it cannot be done and you cannot be profitable with only trading a system, but there's so much more to trading. There's so much more, and people, like, this is what I want to push when I'm gonna get bigger and start growing. So I want to push what actually is the reality of trading. If you guys know Tom Trades, that guy has an 80 and 90% win rate. It made 500k in the last year. How did he do that? Through intuition, bruh. And people are not talking about this shit. Let's see what happens if we Google trading intuition. How much information you're actually gonna find on trading intuition? Very little. Trade intuition, okay. Trust your intuition. Let's see. I can't hear you, bro. Bro, why can I? Oh shit, I forgot that.
Talking to myself, the regular people that you do have around you do carry a certain kind of 100%. I remember like about a couple years ago, I ran into like an old friend. He moved away and came back. I ran into him at like a restaurant. Talking to him inside the restaurant, and for some reason I was like a dark cloud. Yeah, I felt crazy. But then I heard that
this is nothing to do with bro. The title is Trust Your Intuition. This is very likely just an experience about when he used intuition in real life. Turn trading intuition into trading profits.
The useful version of intuition is understanding what you're seeing. So understand what's causing this intuition. And this is an easy fix, right? Just take pictures and take notes of everything. If you don't understand it, take a screenshot.
Bullshit, bro. What the fuck is this, man?
Comes from you seeing the same thing that happens over and over again.
First, one guy that finally says something right.
And so it doesn't matter if you use the zone above that I said I mixed out. And it doesn't matter if you use this zone. What matters is the process that you're going to take whenever you get to this zone.
Bro, this is like, bro, it makes me want to fucking cry that people, no one's actually talking about the thing that is making you profitable, bro. Like, this is what is frustrating me. People are not talking about the thing that is making you profitable, bro. Are you fucking serious? Everyone, bruh. Like this. Why is it? Why? It's like people are gatekeeping, bro. The legitimately holy grail that makes you profitable. I've seen this guy before. I know. Why is this guy so whatever? But there's very, very little context, and it's fucking sad, bro. It's fucking sad that people, like all these trading gurus and all the people that actually have influence in podcasts and shit like that, no one, bro. No one is talking about the reality and what actually makes you profitable and highly profitable. I'm not talking about break even or having months like this, bro. Bruh, this just makes me so sad. But I'm gonna be the trader that does this because it's so sad that people do not talk and you cannot find content. You cannot find someone that legitimately tells you how to use your intuition in trading. What is intuition? How to use it? Why you should use it? No one. Not one single fucking person. Which, funny enough, everyone is talking about strategies and all this and all that and psychology and whatever, but no one's addressing the real reason or the real way you're actually gonna turn profitable. Is crazy for me. Bro, what's this guy? What is this guy picture? Bitcoin at crucial support. And why is this? No, my ball. Oh, oh shit! I saved my bowl. Bruh, I don't know what is, bro. That makes me so fucking sad, and you don't find any fucking one. I mean, this, but it's probably gonna be very taboo. Bro, what the fuck does it? Bro, it makes me wanna hit my head on the desk and wanna like get a fork and get my eyes out of my head. Like, bro, watching what trading gurus don't talk about intuition. Then this bitch is talking about watching 5 instruments and doesn't respect trend lines. Bro, are you fucking serious, bro? I want to crash my head against the wall and keep going at it until I fucking die, bro. Like, why the fuck are you even putting this fucking title if all you're talking about is watching 5 instruments and doesn't respect trend lines? Bro, this is why this industry is shit and full of scammers, because people don't fucking talk about what it actually takes you to become profitable. They keep gatekeeping the reason or the thing that makes you profitable. Bro, like, trader's intuition, why not trade again? Bro, please don't tell me this guy is legitimately serious.
I was going to ask the question, if most traders lose, why not just trade against your intuition?
Bro, please don't tell me this guy is serious. We all thought about this method when we when we were early in the journey. We thought about every time we see a buy, we sell. Bro, shut the fuck. I cannot keep watching this without getting angry that no one is actually talking about this shit. Before you become a millionaire trader, the voice is in my head. I mean, this guy probably will talk properly, but no one's actually has a proper fucking lesson on how to develop intuition, second, how to implement it on your trading. How are you gonna able to listen to intuition? How can you distinguish intuition and emotions? And there's so many things that should be addressed about intuition. How I did find them out was me trying them myself. I couldn't find one fucking video about intuition in trading, and not even now I cannot find one single fucking video. This guy's like, what is this, bro? Like, come on, bro. Like, oh, using intuition proceeds to draw fucking X on the chart. Okay, bro. Okay. This is important. This is, again, I think that people don't talk about. Like, bro, let's see using intuition in trading course or something. Give me something, bro. Give me something. Let's say if Bro, this guy is a scammer. If you guys know this guy is a fucking scammer. This guy is a fraud. This is the worst fucking fraud you've ever seen on the market. This guy is pretending and playing a role that he's a profitable trader. Let's see what he says.
Very micro level. On YouTube, you see a trend is price makes a higher high and higher. But when you break that down into candles, for me, candles are like, okay, if I'm looking at 30-minute time frame, and if I see that it's an uptrend, so then I know that 30-minute candles have to make a higher high and a higher low. Then the next candle has to break that high to make a higher. When price goes the opposite way, if
Oh, I mean, just leave me alone, bro. I wanna fucking. Probably Umar is one of the person that. This guy is legit. If you guys wanna get a mentor, or if you guys wanna watch someone, watch Umar, bro. This guy is legit. Still, no one really talking about intuition in depth. No one really talking about it, which is what frustrates me, but also gives me an opportunity. It also gives me an opportunity because this is how I'm trading. This is me. This is how I'm trading. So it gives me an opportunity to build an image in this space by doing this, by me coming here and actually talking about intuition. Bro, like, this is what is frustrating, because intuition is generally the most powerful tool that we have in our brain. The most powerful tool is like an AI or a supercomputer that stores data that any of your journals can't. It stores data from every single trader you've been in. That's our fucking tool, bro. And that's all your experience throughout all these years that you'll be trading are all saved in that part of your brain, in your subconscious, in your intuition. And you can use that. It's basically using your experience, intuition, however you want to call it, but it actually is intuition, because it's intuition telling you that, okay, I've seen this pattern happen over and over and over again. Now what my intuition told me here, this is a dog shit entry, this setup is gonna fail, right? Like, bruh, the most powerful tool we had, yet people are not talking about it. There's two options. Either people are using intuition without like realizing, like naturally, and they haven't really studied how to use intuition properly. Either that, they just use it naturally, or people don't fucking trade with intuition. It's kind of two options. But I think people, like, bro, if just bring me 100 profitable traders right now, bring me 100 profitable traders, and ask them, each one of them, if they trade with intuition, you're gonna see that every single one of them uses intuition at least a certain percentage. Bro, like it's so frustrating, bro. But it's frustrating because it was always frustrating, because I wanted to learn about this and I didn't have people to learn from. But I'm gonna be that person. I'm gonna be that person for people who actually want to take trading to their next level and want to discover the most powerful tool. Like, this is why it's stupid, because people don't actually realize that our intuition, or that our subconscious mind, is our advantage over robot traders, over algorithms, over whatever these things are, algorithm or robots or so on. That's our only advantage. People, like, robots can never gain experience. They do not have that tool that we have. That's our only advantage. If we didn't have intuition, all the people would be trading with robots. Like, doesn't it make sense? This is our only advantage. Then don't you ever think about, why wouldn't you trade with a robot? What is our only advantage over robots or AI traders, whatever? It's only us, bro. Only, pardon me, man. It's only intuition. It's funny. Our most powerful tool, and no one's talking about it. Hundreds of trading influencers that have millions of subscribers, and they all talk about some support and resistance structure. Bruh, you must be fucking joking. What makes every strategy work, or every concept work, is experience, which experience can be called intuition, basically. That's where all your intuition is, or your experience is saved in your subconscious, and how your experience is gonna be kind of communicated through you is through intuition. Intuition is kind of like the gate, not the gatekeeper, the funnel of all that information that is residing within your subconscious. Yeah, but why? Why would you trade with something uncertain, bro? Like people don't understand this, and please, bro, just like legitimately dwell deeper and learn about this. At least that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring this to life because it's not possible, bro. Why exactly are we not talking about this? That's why I'm curious. Why are people not talking about it? Are most of the people not using it? Most of the people probably haven't studied it enough, and most of the people probably use it without realizing. Because I say this all the time. Strict strategy is gonna get to break even or barely profitable, but what is gonna make you highly profitable is your experience, your intuition, your subconscious, however you wanna call it. And people are actually not talking about that. They're gatekeeping, bro. Like fuck off, man. I'm gonna go take a breaky. A breaker. Breaker entry. You're sorry. Look. The gold trade failed. Wow, what a surprise. But yeah, still demo. So we ain't taking bullshit trades. Like, this is why I say you don't go against bias. Even if the setup looks the best setup ever, A+, you don't go against bias, baby. This is the perfect. Oh shit, no, my ball. You don't go against bias ever. Unless it's a lot of confluence or you're highly confident in going against bias. But this is bullshit, man. We're still waiting for that new reversal. Now, considering that we're displacing, I don't know if we're gonna get that sweep. Maybe it's gonna keep it for newest, but outside gold, not really looking to be trading. No enough confluence to be looking at shorts here. No enough confluence to be looking at shorts. I really don't want to be shorting into high resistance. This is 2 days of consolidation. Don't want to be really buying or shorting into that, depending upon what we see, I would say. But I wouldn't really call this necessarily high resistance. I would call it like structure. But we're gonna see what it do. It's already looking like it's molten. Huge. Demo again, I'm fine, but I'm gonna wait for my setup, bro. I'm waiting for a low resistance, easy fucking delivery setup. Like, this is high resistance. This right here. Oh, I shorted here. That's why I remember it. I shorted against this high resistance. Yo, we waiting for that A+ setup. We ain't gonna do nothing, and we're gonna be patient. Like, at this point, I don't care. Like, what I want to do, this is what I want to do. I don't want to trade, I don't want to make money. I mean, I do want to, but it's not my main purpose. I know that by me filtering those bullshit low quality trades, that's how I'm gonna reach a point where I'm gonna make money consistently. Surprise. That's how you're gonna make money in the market. What a surprise, right? No one would have expected that. No one would have expected that, bro. Ow. Yeah. Probably not gonna back this now. Probably gonna keep backtesting for later on. This is how usually my routine is. I think after New York is the best time to be backtesting. I don't need to hurry. I need to backtest. I want to backtest, but I don't need to hurry. I also want to start posting YouTube videos. I do want to get a clipper in the future. That's for sure. Oh shit. I do want to get a clipper in the future and clip my streams, and I just like take shorts and shit out of it. But yeah, I'm gonna try and do it myself. It's a lot of content. That's the problem, because it's like 2 hours a stream on average, and you have to trim this 2 hours, then extract, then edit. Then I'm gonna try and be a bit more aggressive with my social media. This was my plan all along, because I need and I want to grow. This is my purpose. I have so much value and so much things to share that people would very much benefit from, and I need to reach a point where I can reach that many people and help people. And yeah, reach a point where I can help people and like open their eyes to what actually is profitable trading, right? I don't know, I see like there's one guy on stream. I don't know if you're AFK or you're legitimately watching this. Can you type something if you're here? If you're like legitimately watching my stream for so long. Cause I feel like, I don't know, most people just left until now, maybe. Then yeah, but I don't really care. I feel like I don't even care though, to be honest. I feel like I should probably focus a bit more on talking with people rather than sharing my thoughts, but that's fine. This can work, but dog shit setup ain't gonna look. Still dog shit setup no matter what happens. Whether it's a good setup will not do this shit. It's that simple. Good setup will not pull back this deep. I'm so lazy, bro. It's like a rainy weather. Okay, he left. Bro, the only person in my stream left me. Oh my god. I didn't mean I don't care about you, because I really thank you for being here, but um I meant I don't care that there's now people on the stream. It is what it is. Uh, of course, I always care about the people that are on my stream, and I'm always really grateful. I will never even forget about this. I didn't even forget about the first guy that ever fucking commented on one of my videos. I will never forget, because I always appreciate these things. Even if it's one guy on stream, I still appreciate not being alone. If that makes sense, not being alone. But yeah, no trades, no real trades for London. The only setup that is valid, that I would want to trade for. Let me do this. For New York is gonna be gold, but gold has to retrace so deep that is very likely just not gonna happen. Very likely just not gonna retrace towards that 4 hour. Maybe we get it towards the next day, but I still do see this high getting targeted, but I'm not sure. Geo bullshit, still bullshit. AU still bullshit, very overextended. Very likely this high that I'm putting my order here on the sell limit is gonna just get manipulated. To be honest, it's just very likely gonna get manipulated. That's pretty much it. God damn. I love trading, bro. This is why I love, and there's no feeling in this world that can be compared to you doing what you love and grinding towards that purpose. There is no better feeling, bro. And I always told this even to my friend, and until he reached a point where he actually started doing what he's loving, he didn't fully understand. Bro, how did I zoom? The fuck? I zoomed on TradingView and I have no idea how. It's I guess. It's I. But yeah. There's no better feeling than you doing what you love every single day and having the ability to do it. Like not having outside pressure on doing what you love. There's no better feeling waking up every day to fulfilling your purpose and walking your path and doing what you love and grinding towards that thing you love. There's no better feeling. No drugs, no bitches, no parties, no nothing can ever give you this feeling that being in alignment with your dreams is gonna give you. There's no better feeling. This is how truly life is worth living, to be honest. This is what I'm realizing. Like I don't need weed, bro. Like I do not enjoy being on weed anymore. The best feeling you get is when you grind. When you grind towards your purpose. There's no feeling that ever compares to when you're in alignment with your goals. No matter what the results are. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as you're doing what you love and you love what you do. Nothing ever comes close to the feeling that you get. Nothing ever comes close. And nothing comes close to me doing this. There's nothing that ever gives me more pleasure than me streaming every single day, doing YouTube videos, talking about trading, permanently thinking about trading. There's nothing better than this for me. That's why I gave up weed, because weed, I don't need it anymore. I used to use it just to escape and cope with reality when I wouldn't be happy with what I'm doing. But now, do I need that shit? Hell nah, bro. You ain't need no drugs when life feels like this. Even if there's no results, I still feel like I have results because I love what I'm doing, and I'm doing it from a space of love, not lack. I'm not here doing trading because I want to make money. Like it changed a lot for me. I'm not here trading because I want to make money. I'm not here streaming every day because I want to make money. I'm here because I genuinely love doing it. That makes a big difference, and it is a big difference. Is I'm never gonna do YouTube where I'm gonna do certain, like even when YouTube, I'm not gonna do videos just to make money. I'm not gonna do that just to make money. Money is gonna be a byproduct. Like the same with trading. Money is a byproduct of you sticking to your process. Like the same with YouTube. Money is a byproduct of me doing what I love every single day, which is trading and live streaming it. All is a byproduct. Money was always a byproduct. Never, shouldn't ever be the main thing. What should be the main thing is you loving what you do. If you don't love what you do, don't do it. Simple. Don't do that shit. Because this is what is gonna give you fulfillment. If you're doing trading only for making money, it's not gonna be fun. First of all, the journey is not gonna be fun. Second of all, when you're gonna reach profitability, you're gonna feel empty, and it's not fun at all. You don't want to be doing it. Do trading because you love it. Do trading because you love it. Do trading because you think it is your purpose. Don't do it for the money. Money should be, of course, one of the reasons, but the first and biggest reason should be because you generally love trading, and I do. I wouldn't do anything else. I know that there's no and not one single fucking job that is ever gonna give me this much enjoyment that trading is giving me. Never ever ever never ever will be a job for me that gives me the same fulfillment that trading does. That's what I always knew, and when I discovered trading, I knew it is my purpose, and I knew that I loved it really really much, and I knew that this is gonna be what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And since then, I dropped out of 2 colleges. I didn't listen to my parents, no matter how hard they tried to convince me to not do this. I didn't listen to anyone. I just knew that this is what it's meant for me, and I just did it with no regrets. I was me. But why is my bro? How? Bro, what? Bro, what? I'm placing my feet on my desk and it's zooming in. What the actual fuck? How is this happening though? What? What the actual fuck? Bro, I was pressing my feet. Look again. What the fuck, bro? I'm pressing my feet on my desk and it's zooming in my trading view. What the actual fuck? What is happening? Let me ask ChatGPT, how the fuck do I zoom out? Yeah, but it's not working. Bro, what is happening? Bro, what? I'm not doing anything. Bro, I have no idea what is happening. Okay, now it works. Bro, it was automatically zooming me in without me doing shit. Okay. Random. But yeah. Just do trading because you love it. That's my biggest advice to whoever's watching this. Don't do it for the money. That's gonna suck the fun out of trading. If you don't like trading, it's not for you. In this job, in my opinion, what it takes for you to succeed, it's impossible to do it without love for the craft. Because you're gonna be unprofitable for so many years that the only thing that is gonna push you to keep you continuing and keep you waking up every single day is love for the craft. And for me, it was love for the craft and knowing that there ain't no fucking job in this planet, in this world, that would ever make me as satisfied and as, I don't know, enjoy that job as much as I enjoy trading. There's no fucking job on this planet. So that made me always push. Basically, the love for the craft pushed me through times where most people give up and then say that trading is a scam. For me, that love pushed me, and you better be doing the same shit. Because without love, it's gonna be fucking detrimental. If you're gonna do trading only for results and you're gonna massively focus on results, the first 2-3 years when you're gonna be unprofitable is gonna feel like fucking hell. It's gonna feel like shit. Because taking L's, consistently reminding yourself every day, in reality reinforcing the fact that you're a loser and you're not getting the money that you want, that's pain. That's why now, even if I'm almost losing this account that I've been trading for 10 months, that's why now I'm not affected by it and I don't care about it, because I'm trading because I genuinely love it. And I'm showing up every day because I genuinely love it. No other reason. I'm doing YouTube because I genuinely love it. I'm doing everything because I love it. And this is one of my core principles. As soon as I start losing love for something, I need to take a break. I need to take a break. For example, I thought about this when I'm gonna reach a point where with YouTube or with trading, where I've been doing it for a lot of time, and I start kind of slipping towards doing it from a space of pressure, or for example, doing live streams just because I don't know, to make money or to fulfill my viewers or whatever. When I'm gonna be in that space, I need to take a break instantly, because if I lose the love for what I'm doing, I'm losing myself, and therefore I'm not gonna be authentic, and my videos are gonna be shit, and everything is gonna be shit if I don't do them from authenticity and from a space of love. So yeah, let's see if this ends up playing, but it's still a dog shit trade. That's why I'm not taking that shit on the live. Gold retracing, the rest are just massively displaced. UK and DAX and Euro as well ended up just massively displacing lower. But yeah, this might look like it's gonna go lower. To be honest, it can do, but yeah, that's probably gonna be it for today. It's 12. This is where usually I take my break for London. No real trades in London. I did enjoy talking, to be honest. It was a nice talk. That it kind of, yeah, it feels good. This is one of the reasons why I'm streaming, right? Because being a trader is extremely fucking lonely. You cannot talk with anyone about the things you want to talk with. Like yesterday, I had like relatives come to my house, and I couldn't talk about anything I genuinely wanted to. I couldn't talk about law of attraction, law of manifestation, trading, psychology, identity, so many things that I genuinely wanted to talk about, but there was no one there to talk that with. That's where social media comes in, because right now I don't have the results. I don't have the results to be hanging around with people that are enjoying to talk about these things. You know what I mean? So what I can do is stream and express myself here, even if maybe most people are gonna find it boring, most people are gonna, I don't know, find it delusional, whatever. At least I'm expressing what my soul demands, right? I'm talking about the things I love talking about, even if it's only one guy watching my streams, and even if it's no one, it's still something that makes me feel good. Because trading is fucking lonely. That's what I can assure you. And it feels like you're crazy. It feels like you're alone against the world when no one around you understands you. Everyone underestimates you. You cannot talk about the stuff you love talking. You cannot do that with friends. You cannot do that with your relatives. You cannot do that with your parents. You're at a point where you're ahead of the curve. You're already operating at a different frequency. So you cannot talk with the people that are under your frequency. That's the thing. But you don't have the results yet to be hanging with people on your level. That's the sad part, is that isolation phase that a lot of people talk about. I think Alex Hormozy talked about this. Every successful person goes through isolation, that limbo phase where you don't belong with your old friends anymore, but you don't have the results enough to be hanging around with new people, if that makes sense. You're kind of in that limbo state, like in between growth phase, and that is really fucking hard. I ain't gonna lie, it's hard to not be able to talk to anyone. That's why I recommend any of you that's ever watching this, or you're a trader, but start doing something. Start doing social media, or start at least recording your live session. This is how I started before streaming. I recorded my live sessions, and by me talking and explaining what I'm looking at, it also first of all helped me focus, and it helped me express what I was thinking or going through, and that really helps. So if you struggle with focus, start recording your live sessions. It helps you a lot. At least it did for me. So apparently this got tapped in, but it's just like a dog shit trade again. High resistance. I don't want to be trading this. Gold is the only one which we're apparently reacting. We might get that retracement. It would be nice to get it, but it's definitely gonna be New York at most. Maybe 5 like silver bullet here. Boom, it would be a nice reversal here on silver bullet. What is this? Almost like here where silver bullet starts. I'm gonna mark that and be aware of it, because silver bullet is always the best timing for reversals. Always the best timing for reversals. But we're gonna see if we even reach it. Still dog shit, still low probability day, exactly as how I expected because of news. Economical calendar, this is a big rate Asia. I very highly think we're gonna reach back into the buy side. We did reach our POI. but we gotta wait for some more structure. Cannot be trading with this shit on. Definitely not. Dax bullshit, limbo in between. Like the fuck is this, man? Just gotta wait for structure or for either side to get taken, either buy side or sell side. It's a big ass fucking range on the 4 hour even. Big ass fucking range. UDSD formula is still bullish, but we did take a significant amount of buy side here. But we are exactly in equilibrium prices, which makes shorting really fucking risky. But we did inverse that though. We did inverse this is a continuation pattern, meaning we're more likely to be continuing towards sell side rather than respecting and going higher. But still really massively think this high is gonna get stopped out. Either be now, either gonna be later. That's why this trade is dog shit, and that's why it's a demo. That's kinda it. Geo Stalin, bullshit. Not really doing much the first day, and this is also part you gotta familiarize yourself with. Not trading. Oh my god, bro. When I was a beginner, I used to fucking itch so hard. I couldn't stay one day without taking a trade. I would consistently think about money and me wanting to make money and me. How can you stay one day and watch charts and not take a trade and not get rewarded for it? And I would start forcing trades and those trades end up being loser. Or later on, what happened with any days that pass. For example, I have one day I skip a trade, it's no problem. This, like, I'm talking about consecutive days. Let's talk about Monday, like a week. Monday I take no trades, that's completely fine. Tuesday no trades, but I start getting itchy. Wednesday I start getting really itchy and I start getting angry that there's no setup. Thursday I start forcing trades and end up losing, and Friday the same. So it's also a matter of kind of being able to remain patient, and remain patient is like, that's the hard part. Remain patient no matter how much it takes. I had periods where I didn't have trades 3 weeks, and on those 3 weeks you gotta be patient and you cannot get annoyed and you cannot start forcing trades. That's also one hard part, being able to stay consistency like this. But overall for me, I do have 2 trades per week on a general, like on an average basis, so should be fine regardless. Shouldn't really go more than 1 week, I would say, with no trades, because I do have a high frequency in trades. But yeah, let's see the AUDUSD if it's working. I'm gonna stay like 10 more minutes and I'm gonna take the rest off and come back for New York. But there's so many things about trading that until you hit your head, you're not gonna learn. Until you fail, you're not gonna learn. This is a very common thing in trading, and it kind of works with everything that you do. Coming from risk, coming from taking trades, coming for taking entries, for everything. You fail first, then you learn. You fail first, then you learn. Or you fail and fail over and over again until you're tired of failing and you're starting to get convinced that how is the proper way of doing things. That's how you learn in trading, over failure and failure on everything you do, not one single thing. Failure. That's how I learned to not force trades, by forcing hundreds of trades. That's how I learned to take only A plus setups, by taking hundreds of shitty B and C setups. That's how I learned to not trade in high resistance, until I learned by trading in high resistance and getting stopped out. So everything you're gonna learn is gonna be failing first. That's how trading is, pretty much. And that's how we all learn at the end of the day. We all gotta fail first. Trial and error. I feel like that's one common phrase that people say in trading. Trial and error. Yeah, indeed, that's actually the truth on how you learn. But not only in trading, that's real life as well. That's how you learn in real life as well. Through trial and error. Through trying and failing. Everything you do, that's how you learn. And failure is actually not a result. It's more like a feedback. It's feedback for your things. Okay, did I take a trade into high resistance? Yes. Why did it fail? Because I took it into high resistance. That's feedback for you to not be trading in high resistance, right? So that's how you just develop. That's every trader's journey in like a couple words. But how are these melting still? God damn. Whether we balance this, we had a pretty clean rebalance here on the, what was this, like a 4 hour inversion, 4 hour bearish AVG, and we retested it here really nicely. I think on the 1 minute. Still no break though. Kind of weird that DAX didn't have crazy manipulation on London Open. Very rarely it's gonna happen. Very rarely we don't have crazy movement on. Oh shit! No, my ball. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I'm not really gonna trade. I don't care about this. These are just like dog shit trades. And I'm gonna see you for New York. The only setup. Let's see. I'm curious also about what UJ done. Nothing really. But the only setup I'm waiting for is gonna be this. This is my A plus setup. As I said, I'm not gonna be taking any trades rather than A plus. No matter how much I have to wait, I'm not gonna be taking any shit because this is my chance on recovering the account by taking really high probability trades. And this time I'm not gonna keep it only while I'm in drawdown. I'm gonna keep it towards me being in profit and being out of break even, all of these things, right? That's gonna be my focus on staying consistent in trade selection, because trade selection determines more than half of your win rate. So keep that in mind even for your trading, not only mine. Keep that in mind because trade selection apparently is extremely important, and we also have proof for that. We have proof for that, and this is a big difference. 14% is not a small difference. By you choosing only A plus setups is not a small fucking difference at all. You cannot say this is not worth it. Going from break even month to 50% is a huge fucking difference. Huge difference. Not a little, huge. Even if this were 5, it still would have been a huge difference. And it's still something you definitely should be doing. Choosing only A plus setup. Like, if you're aware of this and if you study and backtest it and get proof that this is proper, bruh, what would be a reason not to do it? Rather than psychological. The only reason why you wouldn't do it is because you either lack the discipline, which I did. A lot of times I lack the discipline, or you don't see a reason to do it. So, or it can also be the fact that you want to catch every trade and you get bored. Like, this is one thing that I had also why I would not end up filtering only A plus setups for a long time, is because I would get bored and I would want to be in the trade even if it be lower quality. But remember, our goal at the end of the day is still to turn profitable, not to get entertained by trading. If you were to choose entertainment, I mean, we can backtest. Backtesting is for limit testing. That's when you control. But definitely not a live market, or at least do it with a small account. But yeah, I would used to get itchy and just get bored on not trading. But now, very simple solution on how to not get bored while not having any trades. Trade demos. Ta-da! Very simple fix, and it actually makes a big difference. It really keeps trading fun when you don't have any trades. It keeps trading fun because you're limit testing. You're seeing, am I right on this? Am I wrong on this? Even if the idea of the trade is not valid, it helps you. It really helps you not get bored. To be honest, it really helped me a lot. I think that's one big reason why now I'm not forcing trades. Oh shit, not forcing trades because I'm not bored. Right, I would force trades because I would get bored and I would want to be in a trade. Now I'm not bored because I demo trade. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, this is one thing that I recommend you using. So this is gonna be the focus for this week. I don't really want to make expectation to what's gonna happen. I just want to execute. That's my only focus. A plus setup. That's it. I always heard this about traders saying this: only trade A plus setups, only trade A plus setup. But I never fucking understood why. I don't know, like, it's such a simple thing. It makes simple logic, right? Choose to trade only the highest quality setup, you're gonna have high reward. It's such a simple, but again, I just said this before, you learn through trial and error. Until you hit your head and find out the reason why you should take only A plus trades, you're not gonna learn. Until you find the reason yourself, You're not gonna do it. And I had to find the reason myself, and this is perfect proof of that. This is perfect proof, and this is not only I found this myself through 10 months of break even. Through 10 months of break even, not only back this thing. So make sure you can learn. Sometimes I do learn from people. That's probably the best way. If you can do and learn from other people, that's gonna fasten your journey to profitability a lot. So instead of you sitting 10 months in break even like me and trying to find out why you should stick to A+ setups, just take my word for granted. That's one thing that people don't really want to do. But take my word for granted and just trade A+ setups. That's it. Like, you don't have to sit 10 months in break even just to find out lessons like this. Like, you can do it like straight off the bat and avoid this problem whatsoever and just stick to trading A+ setups, and therefore you turn you can avoid break even phase. Definitely you can avoid break even. Like, the biggest break even problem and the biggest reason why people are break even like me myself is trade selection, because you're not consistently trading only A+ setups. If you know that this is the problem, you just do it from the start. Right? So yeah, again, thank you every single one for being here. This was kind of it for today. No trades, but I'm gonna see you in New York. Remember what we talked about. I really hope you guys kind of get some value out of these videos, or maybe if you think I'm crazy, at least, I don't know, get a laugh out of me.